either is or you ain't. You do or you don't. You can or you can't. Or you will or you won't. Either way, baby, a good man, well, he's hard to find. Welcome to the One More for the Good Guys podcast, where good guys gather to shed light on the good life, the people, and the good things that make it that way. I'm Mike McGill with my co-host, Jamie Akins. Now, raise your glass, lend us your ear, and let's have one more for the good guys. Now, sorry, don't cut it when it's every... Hey, everybody, McGill Billy here.
And I'm Jamie.
Welcome back. Thanks again for coming out and tuning in to One More for the Good Guys. We appreciate all the support. We're here for another weekly episode in the podcast land and on your YouTube channels. Thanks so much for all the support you've given us through their Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, all that good stuff, all of our social media. We really appreciate the follows, the likes, the subscriptions, and all that good stuff. Please do the same on the YouTube. I feel like we're learning each week on how to make these video setup look better, sound better, all that good stuff. I mean, hell, look at the big brain on this one. You know, he's working hard, and he's doing a real good job. So.
Damn it.
All jokes aside, no, we do work hard on that. Jamie does. I don't. I book guests and try to come up with content, and he does all the behind the scenes when it comes to producing the lights, the cameras, and the action. So, any rate, give us a like, a follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. Find somebody important and tell them about how good we are or how much they should be following us or liking us and all that other stuff. All that out of the way and to be said, what are you smoking there, buddy?
I'm smoking a Fuente Añejo that you got me for Christmas.
Yeah.
In a Churchill size. Wait for my little square to pop up on my focus. So far, so good, man. This thing is not for the faint of heart. I wouldn't say beginner go out and grab this first thing in the morning, but so far, man, very impressed. It's the first one of these I've had too. So I'm beginning.
We don't get them around here much.
No, and I'm beginning to like a Churchill size. I'm thinking that now Churchill's probably my favorite. So overall,
I like them a lot. I've always liked that, and I like them the more when they're the traditional Churchill size like that.
7 by 49. This might be a 48.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, this is great.
47, 48, 49, whatever. I'm typically liking. I've always been a fan of that size and those sticks. Do you know anything about that one?
No, I figured I'd defer that to you.
Well, I believe. We'll just have to look it up. Well, you can look it up.
Yeah, what are you smoking?
And then we'll talk about it. I am smoking. So I've seen this cigar pop up on several of the other YouTube channels. Pick Jimmy, I think, was the last one I seen it on that made me think, oh, you've got one of those in your humidor. You should try that. But it is a Diesel vintage series and natural. It says it's Ecuadorian Habano wrapper with Nicaraguan fillers, Nicaraguan Habano binder. In the description here on this website that we'll leave nameless, it says Diesel Flair meets aged and refined tobacco. They're saying it's a rustic Ecuadorian Habano leaf for the wrapper, Habano from Esteli for the binder, and Habano from Jalapa for the fillers. Features complexity and richness one would expect from aged tobacco, but this baby is still a Diesel cigar, full of flavor and plenty of punch. Brings notes of spice, cedar, and plenty of cocoa and pepper on the retro. So I have no idea.
Maybe that's true.
I just lit it. Like I said, I seen DJ on the Pick Jimmy reviewing it. I think he maybe put it as one of his top affordable. I probably got all that wrong, so don't hold it against me. But one of the best affordable cigars for the year that he had came up with. But this is in this is called a Pico Gordo size. It is a 4.5 by 60. So a little short, fat fella, kind of like myself. And I'm happy with that. And so, yeah, anxious to start trying out some of these, sticks from the humidor of the month over there, the old glory back there that you can see. I've had a year of a certain subscription that I will remained unnamed. And I still got probably that many of them over there. So they've been doing their thing, and hopefully with the new year, I'm going to be able to start smoking some of those, trying them, and doing different blends and different things, and hopefully pass that along to our folks.
Yeah, one thing I was thinking about, and I looked this up and I'll explain what it says, but when you're going to do a cigar of the month club like we do or whatever, and most of them have more than one option, like 4 a month, 8 a month, whatever, go with the small one, because you will not believe how fast those things accumulate.
Well, and I'll say this, if you're if you're a smoker like us and you already have a good quantity of sticks already,
or an obscene quantity.
Let's don't tell everything. But if you've got plenty of cigars as it is, but you're doing that as a flavor thing, here's what'll happen is they'll sit there and you won't smoke them because you've got your other humidor filled up with your favorite Connecticut, your favorite Sumatra, your favorite broadleaf, your favorite Cameroon, your favorite Churchill, your favorite Robusto. Right. Oh, and don't forget the Corona Gorda of the one thing and the blah, 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 and the Corojo. And so, yeah, I would say that's a good, unless you're just completely starting out and you don't have any kind of inventory at all, then you could go for like the double-decker thing, right, or
which is our subject matter tonight, really. Talking about
blends in.
Apparently these Anejos are rare. They are Connecticut broadleaf wrapper, Maduro aged, and they're aged in cognac barrels from 6 to 8 months. You can actually taste that too, a little. But it says here that the filler is a combination from the Opus X, Don Carlos, and the Hemingway in these cigars, which is, some heavy hitters there.
Yeah, man.
And like I say, they only release these every now and then. But I'll tell you, man, full flavor, big time.
Yeah.
This is all. I expect at the end of this to go, hey, buy as many of these you can get. I bet they're not cheap though.
Well, which is kind of surprising, or could be considered surprising to a lot of people, because a lot of us in the cigar world or a lot of you all out there in the cigar world would maybe think, when you think Dominican, unless you're thinking maybe like an LFD, a triple Lajero, or something like that, you're thinking probably the Dominican tobacco don't have that heft and punch that the Nicaraguan tobaccos do, but
this does.
Yeah.
Especially when you wrap it in a Connecticut broadleaf wrapper and age it in a cognac barrel. I hate cognac too. I just hate it. All of it. Hennessy's the worst of them all. But this has got a little bit of that initial honey, when you take a cognac and it's got that little bit of sweetness before it gags you. You get the sweetness part on this. So very, very, very good smoke so far. This is one of those luxury
good. That's
smokes.
Good to hear, because I bought 2 of them. I bought you one and I bought me one. So I'll be savoring the moment. I get to try
it's excellent. So
I chose we get a lot of questions sometimes like, what do you drink with this, or what kind of pairings do you do, blah, 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 blah. I would say, today I am, we don't get hung up on this a whole lot, but I was also watching some stuff from another channel that we get information from and learn things. So we're always learning and getting information from other content creators and stuff like that as well. But with this being a Habano wrapper and being Nicaraguan and having some zest and some spice and stuff like that, then I chose to have a little bit of the Old Granddad 114. It is a very it'll put hair on your chest.
Very underrated.
It'll make you stand up when you pee. I can tell you that. And you don't necessarily have to be you can be a boy or a girl. I'll say that. How about that? Pretty good stuff, though. It is underrated. When my first grandchild was born, our good buddy Mark Dunn, who was also a guest way back when, who still has a book for sale, by the way, he bought me a bottle of it, and for the granddad, if you will. So
his book's great too.
Yeah, I've been reading.
It really is
bits and pieces.
It's
Kick
hilarious.
It Off.
It's hilarious, and it's
the name of that.
I can't read it without listening, hearing him speak it. But
yeah,
which is a good thing. But Mark's one of the two guests that we've had on twice or more. We've had Brandon on multiple times, just as hanging out with us or on the show, and then Mark twice. And Mark was the first. But yeah, what's that? You got a good looking beer there poured too that they can't see. Is that that Gaelic?
No, I poured me a Guinness tonight.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to say it too.
I was thinking about maybe if this, I've been on a real Connecticut kick here lately.
Go through phases.
2024, the 12-year, well, let's just say this, and then we'll jump into that. So we've been doing 10 things every cigar smoker should know, right? And we've done it. This is a 10-part series. Well, we've got everything. We've released all the way through 7. This is number 8 of choosing your cigar wisely. And the reason I said we'd wait to do this is because I think this is a lot of this information that we'll be reading and stuff comes from a 2017 article from Cigar Aficionado, and we'll be putting our spin as well as our thoughts in it as well. But one of the things about that is your taste change.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like the other night, I smoked a Queller Cream by Villiger, and that's normally my go-to morning cigar. I smoked it the last cigar I had before I went to bed. It just was what I needed. A lot of times with a Guinness, you can get, you can have a real, like something in a broadleaf or in a Maduro wrapper to get that rich thing. But then you can also have a really creamy Connecticut that goes even better with the Guinness too. So it's important to know something about the blend before choosing your cigar. This helps to ensure that you don't choose a smoke that's either too strong or maybe too mild. So you don't have to know every last tobacco, but a component of the cigar to make an informed choice should always have a basic idea of cigar strength levels, wrapper varieties, different things that before you buy it. You've heard us say it many times, you can shop with your eyes. You can be visually, the aesthetic can be visually pleasing. and you say, oh my God, I want that one. I mean, like, look at the band on that. Well, both these cigars, for instance, if you didn't know anything from anything, you know, this is a little bit more of a modern take on something being pretty classy in the band design, if you can see it. But then you look at show them yours again. Then you look at you look at that one and you go, oh man, that's like, that reminds me of, that's a classic.
Yeah.
Just by looking at the presentation of it.
Definitely. And plus all the Fuentes look the same.
Yeah.
Except the Opus X. Pretty much.
Yeah.
They really do.
You know what they do is they alternate their color.
Yeah. This one actually says añejo on it, which normally they don't say shit on.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'll tell you what, I don't know if the camera can tell, but that wrapper on that is gorgeous. That's one of the prettiest wrappers of.
It really is. And it's very toothy. And it's not a bad, I mean, it's pretty good so far. It's,
which is beautiful.
From the tasting notes from the website there, it's holding pretty true. But, God dang it. Most smokers, most of you all, us, different ones, most smokers know if they want a strong, a medium, or a mild cigar. I mean, you kind of, when we first sat down to do this tonight, to do this podcast, I had an Aladino Corojo Reserve ready to go. And I was tasting it before I even lit it. I mean, before I even took the cold draw, I knew that was the cigar I wanted. And I had cut it and I had left it in one of my travel humidors. And I guess I had gotten a little dry on me and the very top of it started kind of unraveling. So I put it up by itself, bring it back a little bit. We'll get a little bit of cigar glue on it and take care of it. But
which is a good point to make, that just because it's too dry right now, it's not ruined. Just, bring it back to life a little bit. Mm-hmm. Don't believe everything you hear unless it's on here. You can believe everything we say.
But strength and body refer to the, cigar's inherent intensity. Okay. That seems like I'm not sure about that description, but one could smoke a cigar that is full of flavor, yet not particularly strong or full bodied. Totally get behind that. You look at that, for instance, we've just talked about it, but the 12-year-old double-aged vintage Maduro, you would look at that and that would scare the bejesus out of most people.
But
that dark wrapper,
right? That
Maduro
looks imposing.
It looks very imposing, but it's complete medium body. It's not strong as far as it don't have a real strong nicotine to it, but it's full flavored.
Yeah.
So big difference there. So, if you're saying you want, and here's the deal, it's a heck of a lot easier. So I've heard, and I don't know, I've never made a cigar, but I've heard from several of the different top makers and blenders that it's so much it's so much harder to make a mild cigar that's full of flavor.
And the terms get interchanged a lot. When he's talking about mild cigar full of flavor, he means from a nicotine strength level.
Yes.
Because people use that
and don't get that confused.
Yeah. Because full body, full flavor doesn't always mean knock you down with nicotine.
Right.
So
one could smoke a cigar that is full of flavor, but yet not particularly strong enough or full bodied, as Jamie just said, meaning that there's still plenty of finessed flavor that's, not going to impact the palate too heavily. Sometimes smokers want full, intense palate stimulation along with heavy flavors, much the way a coffee drinker might want a shot of espresso, or a wine drinker wants a high alcohol content Cabernet
Or a shot of tequila.
or a shot of tequila. You know, to get that requires, you know, powerful tobaccos, typically a full-bodied, powerful cigar. I would say something like the LFD Triple Ligero. You know, that's going to use, what they do is they use the top primings or the mid to top primings of the wrapper to the fillers to the binder to give it that much more strength. As we know, Ligero and the upper primings of the plant, the ones that are closer to the sun, they soak up more of that. They soak up more of the nitrogen, all the other gens, and all the other stuff that goes into the fertilizer as well. So,
and that's a good point you make, because, you know, I was thinking that right when you said it, but the Ligero leaves are closer to the sun, more time in the sun, usually means stronger.
Mm-hmm.
So you see something that says sun grown, okay.
Yeah,
you're going to count on it going to be a little bit of a
it's
little
going to
bit,
have a little pep to it.
little zing. So the sun will, you know, heat strengthens tobacco.
Well,
as far as just, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and it's also going to be the more oily and the richer on the account of that direct exposure to the sun. You know, leaves tend to get less powerful as they grow lower down on the plant. Categorized as Visos and Secos. These lower priming tobaccos are more nuanced in flavor and have better combustion. A full-bodied blend will contain more Ligeros, but it also has to have some Seco or some Secos and Visos in it for the combustion rate, whereas a medium body blend would have more Secos and Visos and a lot less Ligero. Still have a little Ligero in it because it needs it to make these things do what they do.
Yeah. You know, they kind of wrote this point in with, you know, we, like I said, we pulled this off an article from Cigar Aficionado, and sometimes
it's been pretty accurate,
but sometimes it's like they're trying to show you how much they know. But just, you know, whatever. And realistically, the bottom line is that if you're going, and what our point is called, what? Choosing your cigar wisely.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it depends on how experienced you are too. The way that's written there, and I read through it, it's almost like, hey, you need to know everything there is to know about tobacco before you go in and buy a cigar. Horse shit. Don't do that. Listen, I'll tell you something my daddy told my grandmother one time. She had a Cadillac back in the 80s, and it had a 5.0 in it.
Shit.
And it was a Coupe de Ville.
The Coupe.
Yeah, it was an 86 or something. And 85, I think. She, nice car, white, had red leather interior. And she traded that thing in, and Dad said, well, Bertie, why'd you trade that car in? That's a good car. She said it had too much power. And so, and this is very relatable to this subject matter. He said, well, Bertie, did you ever think about not pushing on the gas as hard?
Yeah.
And so, that being said, listen, don't let the strength of a cigar, the look of it, what anybody else says, deter you from trying it. Because listen, we're not smoking a stick of strychnine here. It ain't going to kill you. Just if it's a strong cigar, and you're going to know pretty soon if it is, hey, you don't have to smoke the whole damn thing. Or you don't have to hotbox it. Take your time with it. Relight it. We've taught you how to relight stuff. And then
slow down. Smoke slow and cool.
And then if you do that with yourself, and especially as a beginner, you put yourself in a well-ventilated area so it's not on top of you all the time. Because it don't matter how slow you smoke the stick, if the smoke's hanging in your face, it's still there. So,
yeah, like right here, right now, you know, and the honky tonk's about 250 square feet. This little area that we're in, to the Schlitz sign up to us is is 8x10. Now you take off a few inches here and there for sheetrock and studs and blah, blah, blah. But, we're not in a very big open space. There's two windows, one door. I've got a window slightly cracked, but then I have a Dyson smoke, for lack of better, just a smoke eater with a fan that moves. So, air purifier. And then behind us down here in the floor, I also have a Lavoie, little smoke eater thing. And I've asked people a lot of times, they say, and I smoke in here
every day.
Usually at least once a day, right? Sometimes twice a day, depending on if I'm off or if I've got other stuff, if it's a weekend or if we got a whole day of ball games or something like that.
And on a Thursday, there might be up to 9 cigars smoked in here if we have a guest.
Yeah, we may smoke 3 apiece.
Yeah, that's right.
Because we may shoot 3 episodes in a day, and then so.
And it doesn't, when you walk in here, unless you've been smoking, it doesn't smell like smoke.
No, but I've had a lot of comments about my clothes and or my hair or stuff like that, and be like, well, it doesn't smell like, and I smoke occasionally in my car, but I roll the damn window down. I don't roll it down to where I can, St. Bernard can climb out the damn window of it, but
free country.
If you keep things ventilated and you take a little bit of precaution, I guess what we're getting at is that will help. Now, when it is one of those times where there's 3 of us in here, we're all smoking, and we don't take those measures, then you'll see us rubbing our eyes. And, and everybody kind of, but yeah. And I was not a subscriber to this point, but when we were talking about way back, we were, I can't remember what the appropriate number was. We put together a list for smoking, new smokers.
Right. Yeah.
And I was not a subscriber to this fact. You were about not offering something that had a lot of strength to a first-time smoker. And now that I think back and I look back and I start debating that, I'm more apt to, why would you want to, let me see the right way to say this. Why would you use the tact, or how would you convince somebody to get into a hobby or try a cigar by giving them the least amount of what you're trying to share with them and or teach them about? It'd be like giving, somebody wants to try sour cream for the first time, and you give them
Greek yogurt.
You give them Greek yogurt, or you give them extra light, fat free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus, or you're going to make a milkshake and you don't use heavy whipping cream.
True. Yeah.
But it's the first time okay, so if they've had milkshakes before, then they can have a point of reference to, no, I want the low fat, but when they don't have any point of reference, why would you start them off with the least desirable? That's not a good way. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
If you
Help
want
me out
to,
here. I'm burying
well,
myself.
right. If you want to represent,
I need a drink.
Represent your hobby. Your goal is for them to take on your hobby. Usually, hey, we like cigar smokers. We are in that business, and I'm not going to hand something to somebody to. It goes both ways. I'm also not going to hand them something they're going to puke their guts out on either. I'm going to hand them something that is, like you said earlier, as full flavor as I can get without getting so much strength.
Yeah.
And that's why when I first started smoking, I lucked into this because I didn't, you had the internet, but it wasn't nearly like it is now. I mean, hell, you can find out anything you know now, and want to know now on cigars. But then it was a little different. And I started with Maduro cigars. That was the first thing I started with because I thought, I don't know, it's like the way it looks. I like the contrast of the dark wrapper and the white ash. It just looks good. Hell, I wear black all the time. Might as well, so. But
your soul and your heart is black.
That's
so
right.
Why not smoke a black cigar?
That's right. So, but I lucked out because Maduro cigars get a bad rep because people think, oh, they're strong, but Maduro means aged, and a lot of times they're sweet, and medium. And now this one is Maduro. And it's an ass kicker. This is, but it's intended to be that. I think this is supposed to be put your big boy pants on and smoke it. But you're right. I want to represent the best of what to a newbie.
Like if I was going to give a newbie like a Maduro cigar, there's two that come to my mind straight off the bat. One is a very cost-friendly cigar. So there's very much, they don't have to shell out a bunch to figure out if they like it or they don't, right? So there's a lot of, what am I trying to say? There's a lot less risk monetarily, with this, but would be a Montosa, Maduro, and a Toro. And I wouldn't even start them out with a Robusto because it is Maduro. It's as black as that Guinness. But it is it may be a 4 on a strength scale.
Yeah.
Would you say,
4 on a strength scale, about a 7 on a flavor scale.
Oh, flavors are unbelievable. Whereas if you smoked an Undercrown 10 Maduro, going to be a little higher. I wouldn't start them out on that. But like the Montosa Maduro or the 12-year, the Perdomo 12-year is.
You want to hook them? They hand them one of those.
Is completely one of those as well. So
or a damn Padron 7000 Maduro or something like that. Try this, and then everything. Then you set the bar pretty high.
Or even something as small as like the 2000. I mean, but something that doesn't have that big that has all that strength behind it, but has that flavor. So, if you came into our place, if you came to our place of business and was asking what to do, or, we were trying to fit you or help you pick out something, there's a whole list of questions that your tobacconist and or your brick and mortar people should be asking you.
Operative word is should.
Yes.
Be asking you.
Sometimes that don't always happen, but it's my job to sell something. If I'm a salesperson, I don't get paid by recommending plumbers to you. I get paid by selling you things. And that means trying to find that right thing. If you're a new person, if you if I see you come in and you're wearing, let's say you're wearing Jordans and you're wearing nice pants and you got a nice watch on, or I know you're probably you're a guy that likes a style, or you're a person who cares about his appearance. So you're going to probably want to pick something that's a little more classy looking, and or probably something that's more middle of the road to the higher level of flavors. So
and price.
And so I'm going to start you there, and then we're going to go from there. But that's what we should be doing as salespeople to try to figure out, are you an intermediate smoker? Do you smoke every day? Do you you just seen Arnold Schwarzenegger on TV, you want to try one now? Or Steph Curry was smoking one, or okay, so that means you don't know nothing. Yeah. More than likely, not in a bad way, but you're very inexperienced. That would be the right word. So I'm going to walk you down that inexperienced road and try to find something that's going to be a good enough quality and that's got enough things that I can brag to you about and sell you on, as well as it being a quality something, in hopes that you're going to want to come back and not get a plumbing reference from me, but buy another cigar.
Yeah, your goal is to sell more than one. So let's do this, because I've been thinking about this. Why don't we talk about how you would go in as a beginner to a brick and mortar store and what you would look for, and then I'll do it and we'll kind of come together on it. Like, you walk into a store, you don't know nothing other than a few little things.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you exactly not what I would do, but what I did do. How's that?
Better, yeah.
So when I first started kicking around the idea of smoking a cigar, we were either on a road trip or we were playing off some area or whatever. But the first time I went into an actual store, I just walked in and I was just like,
yeah.
There was so many things. And the first thing that popped out to me, and of course, when the guy came in and said, "Hey, can I help you find anything?" I took it as automatically I had my guard up. And I have no idea why, because I didn't know sick 'em from go. Right. But I'm just browsing, thinking about maybe picking up a couple of sticks. That sounded good, right?
Sure, yeah.
Maybe he thinks, and he'll just leave me alone, which is not what you want to do. You want the guy to help you, or the lady to help you, the sales associate to help you. And I went straight and picked out the most pleasing cigar by the band. And that's exactly the way I started.
How did it work out for you? Do you remember what you bought?
I do. I remember that I bought a Perla Del Mar, which had just a gorgeous band on it. And it was probably something, it wasn't a Maduro, but it was probably something in like a Corojo or Habano strong cigar, which I was already a tobacco user of different varieties. So that didn't.
Which matters. Yeah.
I had a tolerance already.
Absolutely.
But knowing what I know now, I would have tried to engage in a conversation and with the sales associate, and would have actually maybe tried to listen to a thing or two, because I didn't have a cutter, I didn't have a torch lighter, I didn't
Sure.
Well, I need that stuff, right? At least if you're not going to cut it there and smoke it there, how are you going to do it when you get to wherever the hell you're going? Then you're going to have to come up with you're going to have to invent something, right? You're going to have to be creative. So that's exactly how I picked out my first cigar.
Which is as good a way as any. The first thing I did, I got into cigars by accident, because we went to Mexico and they had some rollers and I bought one and I smoked it when I got home. I was like, I can't think I like this, after I puked, I think. But what I did is I went and picked up one of the magazines, probably Cigar Aficionado. It might have been that, or Cigar Journal or something. And I just started thumbing through it and started learning the brands. Like, it's like walking down the aisle at the grocery store now, where there's the soft drink aisle, where the Cokes and stuff are. I mean, I don't go in there, and there's a lot of stuff that I don't drink and I wouldn't drink and I haven't drunk, but I know what they are. I can see right there that that's I can't come up with something right now, but there's that. So then when I went into a brick and mortar store, I recognize that Oliva, because I seen that, and Oliva was real hot, especially the Oliva V, the regular was real hot then. So I bought an Oliva V, and I bought a CAO MX2, And the Oliva V was that one, I believe, was in a torpedo of some kind. And so that's what I did. I just went with, I've seen that before. And how much is that? Okay, $6. Okay, I'll try that. And I just kept doing that. And then I started ordering samplers to kind of get, I don't know what I like. But I think what's your point about going in, and if you can get somebody, if you go into a cigar shop and somebody comes up to you and asks you if you need some help and you don't know anything, say yes. I know a lot of men are reluctant to say yes.
And be honest.
And and just say, look, I'm looking to get into this and want to try something. And they will be very helpful because, listen, they want to sell you and they want customers.
Perfect example, just to interject. Not you stay on your train of thought, but I went yesterday. Was it yesterday? I don't know. It was yesterday or the day before. But I found myself out and about doing, had errands and different stuff to do. And I went by our place down in Halls, the smoke pit.
Yeah.
And I was actually going to see if they had any of the new CAO Amazon basins in, because I know they carry them and they've tried to sell them to me before. And that's when I didn't know about them. And I was passed them up like a dummy.
Have you ever had one?
I have one in the humidor.
Oh, so you did get one?
No.
Oh, okay.
I've had one in there for 2 years. I still haven't smoked it. I may smoke it tonight, and share it with you all. But at any rate, where was I going with that? Oh, Jamie smokes pipe occasionally. And the other night I was sitting here and I just found myself kind of in between. I've got smaller cigars and, Churchills and 6x6. I've got all different sizes, right? But I just wasn't in the mood to have a 30-minute or a 20-minute or a 45-minute or an hour, or, I just was I felt kind of in between. And I thought, and I remembered you and I thought, next time I'm out and about, I'm going to look at some pipes. I've smoked pipe occasionally from here or there, but I've never really had a good one or blah, blah, blah. But any rate, so I started doing my research like you're talking about. And then when I went to the store, I asked the fella, I was like, what is the pipe I need to get me started? I don't need the most expensive,
and boy, you can spend some money.
Or this was made out of a Bavarian antler elk from
that Noah's rode into the ark. You can spend as much as you want on a pipe. Trust me.
So I took this man who is his job, and I let him show me. I let him lead me to where I needed to go.
Sure. Yeah.
And of course, I didn't pull the trigger and buy one yet. I thought, well, this was kind of a spontaneous thing. So I'm going to go research it just a little bit more. But when I find out if that's what I need to do, then guess what? This fellow was nice enough to kind of show me down the road, and I'll probably go back there and buy. That's where I'll buy my first one. So go ahead. And
that's funny you mentioned that, because the other day,
cigar, but that's
right, tobacco. But still, I was a cigar snob, and I thought pipe tobacco was beneath me for years. But then I started figuring out on the pipe thing that I started smoking pipe because of winter. Because hellfire, I didn't want to go out there. This is 2 hours right here. Mm-hmm. I've even let it go out twice, just sitting here talking. But a pipe is as long as you want it to be. Mm-hmm. And if you have to quit, you're out 37 cents. Because it's much cheaper. That's right. Much cheaper than this bad boy.
Yeah.
So it serves its purpose. And I'll tell you something else about that. The other day when we were here, I smoked one at the end because it was getting later. And I thought, and one thing, if you do smoke inside cigars a lot, if you finish with the pipe at the end of the day, it changes the smell of the room.
Oh, that it really does. Very aromatic.
Yes, it is. It's intended to be, of course, but
You can't always tell, however, just by looking at the cigar, as we talked. Dark oily wrappers often indicate a strong cigar. Often indicate a strong smoke, the way light wrappers often indicate a mild or a medium bodied smoke. However, looks can be deceiving, as we all know. And so having someone who's maybe a little more knowledgeable. And hey, here's another thing too. Let's say you're in a walk-in humidor and there's someone else in there. Maybe there's nothing wrong with saying, "Hey, man, how long have you been smoking?" I'm just kind of starting. Whether it was sales associate or if it was just Jamie and I didn't know Jamie and he was in there looking. I guarantee you, another smoker will be more than glad.
Oh, yeah.
9 times out of 10 would be more than glad to share what little or what they know and try to help you, lead you in the right direction of picking something that's going to be good for you.
Right. And that's a good point, because a lot of times you'll go into a place, and it's like a morgue. There's no talking. Everybody's looking at their one thing. You walk around people, whatever else. But that's a good idea. If you've got somebody that's there buying cigars, well, they're at least at the same level you are. If you don't mind me
asking, why did you pick that one?
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about nothing.
Right.
Why did you pick that one?
Yeah.
And well, that guy's going to tell you why.
Oh, yeah.
Or that girl's going to tell you why.
The cigar community wants to share.
Yeah.
Info. There's not a whole lot of arrogance in the cigar community that I found about cigars. That is,
no,
try this,
cigars
man,
themselves.
Yeah,
sure.
Try this. You'll like this and why and whatever else. But I guess that from choosing your cigar wisely, one of the main points that you touched on too is that they're not cheap. I mean, this is not a cheap necessarily, compared to, well, I guess it's about the cost of any other hobby, really, unless you just get nuts with it, like some people we know. But yeah, I mean,
well, here I just thought of this. So I walk into your place of business and you say, "Hey, how can I help you?" And you say, "Hey, man, I'm just getting into the hobby and I don't really think I want to spend more than $10."
Right.
What's the absolute best $10 cigar you have here that you could turn me on to for, a complete noob, a complete rookie?
Yeah, and that's a good price point to start at, too, because you can get into a lot of different stuff, even on a single price at a brick and mortar.
And what's $10?
Yeah.
In today,
Big Mac fries and a medium drink.
Yeah. And a stroke.
Right.
So, that might be a good way to approach it, or maybe your budget's $5. Hey man, I can't, before tax, I need a $5 or $6 cigar. They've got those there too. And listen, it doesn't matter. They didn't build that humidor and stock it to take them all home with them at the end of the night.
Yeah, they're not collecting cigars.
That's exactly right. We brought them to sell them.
Yeah.
And so, don't know who you are, know what you're kind of wanting to try. And also, as Jamie said earlier, there is more information out there, free information out there. I didn't start really educating myself and trying to learn as much as I could learn about the hobby and or cigars and the 10 things I should know until probably 2019. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I really dug in there and then I started, I'll save my band. Oh yeah. Well, that seems like a good idea. I didn't know to do that. Jamie had mentioned it once and then I seen it somewhere written, or I should try, this brand or this particular thing or blah, blah, blah. So if you're really interested in it, don't overwhelm yourself, but do a little research, do a little homework, have an idea. a budgetary idea, kind of a flavor idea of whether you want mild, medium, full, or full flavor versus something. You can learn that much on your own, and that will also make the salesperson's job a little bit easier as far as trying to direct you to your first cigar,
right? And
or your next cigar, or say, hey, I've been smoking Brand X here for 6 months, and I really like them, but I want to try something different. Well, what about this? What about Brand X do you like? Well, then you tell the guy or the girl, the sales associate, you tell them what you like about Brand X. Well, what are you hoping maybe? Well, I'd like to have something that has a little bit more of this or something that's a little bit this way. Well, okay, now they've got an idea. They're not just spinning you around and they're putting a fucking bandana on your face and crying out Marco Polo, for God's sake.
Right. Well, it's just like when you talked about the time when you were a car salesman. We had on our Beatty Chevrolet buddy the other day. It's just like that. You don't go buy a car with absolutely no idea of what you're looking for.
No.
And that's a major purchase, obviously. So you do a little research, spend 5 minutes. The best way, though, here's the best way to find out information about what you want to smoke, whatever.
The best way.
The best way. You ask us. You send us an email and you say, hey, one more for the good guys. What do you think? We got a friend that does this all the time on the Facebook page, Lonesome Lance. He's all the time asking questions. And
what do you think about brand so-and-so?
Yeah. And just ask us, because now here's the good news is that we never met a cigar we didn't like a little bit. It's like pizza for me. I don't know that I've ever had. I mean, I've had some individual sticks where I was like, this is a turd and whatever else, but I can find just about something I like about every cigar that I've smoked. Yeah. So you're starting with us, you're starting from we're not going to shun your brand. Oh my God, don't get this. It may not be my cup of tea. Well, let's take a brand, for example, Gurkha. Okay. When I started out, a lot of the company I ordered from, they put Gurkha in a lot of the samplers. And for me, still are this way. They're hit or miss. They do have, I tell you, I don't know if I can still do it, but I can blind test and taste a Gurkha over anything else. I don't know what it is about it. There's something about it that's different.
I think I can do that with a Davidoff.
Oh, yeah, well.
To me, they have a very certain.
Yeah, I think I could probably do it with Padron, maybe. But anyway, I don't buy Gurkha stuff now.
Yeah.
Would I smoke them? Sure. I just, for my palate and what I like, I found that other brands suit that better. But we're not going to tell you, hey, don't buy that, without at least giving you an alternate option or telling you why.
Yeah. If you got any questions, comments, anything like that, any imparting wisdom that you'd like to share with the people that are in this, that are going to be watching this or in the comment section, put it in there down below. Let us know. We'll be more than glad to answer and try to give you an educated answer and not just an opinion. That's the other big thing too. Well, you won't like that. Nobody likes that. Well, they've been making them for 30 damn years. Why don't nobody like them?
Yeah.
Don't make no sense, right?
Yeah.
You don't like it. So we're not going to do that to you. We're going to give you the most honest and accurate and educated advice that we can give you. And you can do all that by going to onemoreforthegoodguys.com or Good Guys Cigars. Use your big brain and figure the rest of that one out. So, all that being said, did we leave anything out about choosing your cigar wisely?
Well, I think that we touched on it, but I think one thing that really needs to be said, it's very important that you support your local tobacconist.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay? Because one, they're competing with online, and we all know that for the most part, you can buy online cheaper. Well, why is that? Because their overhead's less. They're not having to pay for a building for everywhere they sell. They've got a warehouse.
And the majority of the online companies, other than are owned by conglomerates and big tobacco groups.
That's right.
And they're only interested in numbers.
That's right.
That's not what we're interested in.
But it doesn't mean you can't go to those sites and find good information. There's one particular company that we almost invariably, when we're telling you about a cigar, we pull it up to look at. I do. They didn't have this, but because the information's good. Do I buy from them? No, I don't like them. But I used to.
Their customer service.
Customer service sucks.
Shit.
But their reference material's fantastic.
Yes.
So,
very much so.
Very much. So I think that it's very important to, especially when you're starting out. I'm not going to be sitting here and be, naive enough to say, hey, when you start buying 500 cigars a year like we do, you got to buy them all local. Well, horseshit. Ain't nobody going to do that. I mean, I understand that and I get it, but you're not paying that much more at a brick and mortar.
Well,
and you also can't buy individual single sticks online.
This is what you do. I mean, this is what I did for a long, long time when it came to brick and mortar stores. Guess what? I went to the smoke pit just the other day, what I was telling you about, and I talked to the guy about the pipe, but guess what I did? I spent $50. I spent $50. I got 2 cigars that I hadn't tried before that I don't have to order a box of, that had been highly recommended by a couple of other people that I trust and share. Our palates are similar, right? So I bought that. And then I bought me a new can of butane.
Yeah. Shopped for a pipe.
And
we'll go back and get one.
We'll go back and get one from them. So if, let's say you see something, you see us review something, maybe it's something maybe that we don't have in stock or whatever. Well, guess what? Go out to your local store. If they've got brand blah, 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 pick that up. Get you 2 of them. Get you 1. Try a 5-pack, whatever you're going to do. But that's so much better than, trying to figure out if you like something and having to spend over $100
just to try it.
Just to try it.
Yeah. That's the real footprint in the market that the brick and mortar stores take up that nobody can compete with, is if you want to try a one-off, there ain't nowhere else to do it.
Yeah.
They're not going to ship you one single cigar.
Yeah.
I mean, they might, but it'd be $20 shipping.
Yeah, you're gonna pay through the nose for it.
Pay $30 on a $5 stick when you could have got 6 of them in a brick and mortar. Tried them all.
Yeah. So that's a very good thing to do, and you can always support your local businesses by. You're always going to need a new cutter. You're going to need you're always going to need butane. Hey, they might have an ashtray that they've got marked down. There's always something you can find. You need Boveda packs. You need humidor, pillow clouds. You need your little jar of the magic stuff. All that stuff. You can find all that stuff there.
This is a perfect.
And it's a way to support, get in, meet somebody, pick up a few tips. It's a good thing to do, and you should do it.
A perfect parallel example is this. I read a lot of books, and I own a lot of books.
He can't read.
And I collect more than I read them, kind of like I do with cigars. So, but I will go. Now, there aren't a whole lot of brick and mortar bookstores left, thanks to, Amazon. But if you will start looking around, I go to Barnes & Noble all the time. all the time, mainly because we're down there at Trader Joe's. And if you hadn't had their peanut butter cups, get your ass down there and get some. They got them in dark chocolate and milk chocolate. You'll smack your mama. I'm telling you. I can't even have them, and I still sneak them. So anyway, but I go in Barnes & Noble, and if you get part of their program, and a lot of these brick and mortar stores will have a discount program to where you can sign up. You can buy, like Smoke Pit does. You get a card, and if so many, you get discounts off.
Yeah, they always offer good things. Well, I went and bought the $50 worth of stuff. It would have been 60. I had $10 banked up because I had supported them in the past.
So now you're getting even closer to the margin that you would have an online situation. And I have noticed in the book world that the Walmarts and the Targets and everybody else are matching Amazon's prices. So now you can go in and get the same book. You know, the selection at those big box stores is a little less, but Barnes & Noble is and if you get on their program, you can get the same prices. So same thing with this. Go in and spend some money. I mean, yeah. You know, you spent $20, you spent $50 and got how many cigars? 2 and some other stuff.
I got 2, but I got 2 really good cigars.
Yeah, but if you'd gone and got a box of them, it'd been $800.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So
absolutely.
There's no reason not to go in your brick and mortar.
I got butane. I got educated on buying a new pipe. I also figured out my pricing on my little tamper tools and everything that I'll need to go along with that. And I got 2 cigars and I got $10 off. And guess what? Because I had started going down there way before and had been a pretty good customer, and they always had sampler packs for sale. That's another thing. You know, you can buy you a 5-pack of something that you have no idea about and try those for under $30, if you will.
That's right. Most
of the time. And then it leads into you develop a relationship with these people, and guess what? You find a box of numero uno from Hoya de Nicaragua.
That's right.
That's been on the shelf. They ain't sold them. You've been going there 2 years. They still got. Well, hey, how about you make me a special deal on those?
Which was in your top 5 smokes.
Absolutely. So there's always benefits, and for no other reason than the mom and pop, the brick and mortar stores, that stuff is fleeting. Those times, a lot of those times are changing. So let's help local people stay in business and also get the advantages of doing so, because there are several advantages to that. That would be my.
Yeah. And last thing I want to say about shopping in general is that I make it a point to try to get it local if I can, with everything. But a lot of things I buy, you can't get local.
Yeah.
A lot of it. And so I work up my savings in those things, you know, whatever I order, whatever. That way I've got that extra over here. I've saved this money over here that I can spend a little more there. And you need to do it that way because these places are dying out.
Absolutely.
And, economy isn't fantastic anyway. So, and they've put a lot of money on the line and their life on the line, and they got to pay the light bill and everything.
Absolutely.
Else. So, it's very important to go in and, your $50 was great, but you know what? That $50, by the time that they paid for the inventory that they sold him, they probably made $20, maybe. That paid that.
Might have made less.
That paid the guy that helped Mike for an hour.
You know.
So you see what I'm saying? It's like there's a lot of expense in running a business. So when you get into something, consider. And I know a lot of our audience does this already, but it's very important to be a community-based thing and to buy as local as possible. And on top of that, in closing, is that there is a retailer in Knoxville that you're going to be able to get online prices at. And we know those 2 guys pretty well.
Good guys.
Good guy. Good looking as hell, too. So realistically,
all I know is they're good guys.
Yeah, that's right. We had 2 names, 2 fat rednecks, cigars. but that one was taken. So it was Good Guys Cigars, and the
Didn't
rest.
seem to roll off the tongue.
It did.
What do you think about yours? Let's wind this up.
I think that if you blind tested this and gave it to me, I would and said, Jamie, what do you think this cigar costs? I would say this MSRP on this is $24 because it's complex as hell. It's full. It's strong. It's gorgeously made. I've been talking so much, I'll let it go out a couple times.
Construction's been perfect.
Perfect. Burn line was great. Not for the faint of heart. Is this something I'd want to smoke on a regular basis? Hell yeah. So, yeah, I'll get as many of these as you can afford. And they're pretty rare. They don't make them all the time.
Yeah, so. You're not going to find them a lot. They come along very rarely, and a lot of times they're limited to X amount, per person, because the shops just don't get them.
Yeah.
This little cigar here, this little fat boy, pretty good. I had to touch it up once, had a little bit of a wonky burn. And when I say touch a wonky burn, I don't mean that it was a little this or that. It had a few problems, but there again, I've been talking a lot. I hadn't been paying a lot of attention to it, but,
it's 20 degrees outside. Yeah. So temperature issue.
I would say, though, in this cigar, I'd like to try this I think they make this in a regular Robusto size. Let's see. Didn't I say they did? Well, it's a fat one, too. It's a 5x56.
Toro, that's a 5.
Maybe a Toro 6x52. That's a little more standard. Usually a 50 or a 52 is.
That's the prettiest diesel band I've seen.
And they actually got a 6x46 in the Lonsdale size. That's a really, and we'll do an episode on different sizes too. A lot of times we can get hung up on sizes and different things, but there are certain cigars, as you heard us say a million times before, that are better in certain sizes. There's certain blends that are better in certain sizes. But as far as this little guy goes, yeah, I would say they're pretty well priced. I mean, what does that come up to? What did I say this was?
Like $6.50 or something.
Yeah, so like shit. Yeah, so $7 cigar. Basically, if you're, by the box price, but I definitely try to pick up maybe a 5-pack. I would recommend this as a 5. I don't think I would. This is not my best economical cigar.
Oh yeah, sure.
Of the year by far. No. I have lots more. I feel like would give this one a better run for you.
I'll tell you what, though, in person, I hope it translates on the camera. But the aesthetics of it is gorgeous. That color, that brown, is beautiful.
Yeah, the cream and the color, I think kind of the cream and the is that like a more of a little bit of a rose gold and black.
Oh yeah, that band, that diesel out.
But at any rate,
that's pretty.
It's a decent little stick. I'm glad I smoked it. It wasn't anything to cause me, but it was the flavor notes that the website said wood or cedar, black pepper, baking spices. I didn't get a lot of cocoa. I didn't hardly get any cocoa. Maybe that'll go on into once I get the band off of it. But
I'll tell you, this
definitely 5-pack worthy for you to try.
I'm just now in the second third of this, and now my tongue, every draw, my tongue's numb. This son of a bitch is strong, boy. You do not go out and get one of these and just like, I'm going to hotbox it because you will puke your guts out. It reminds me of that Partagas Black. A lot of it. It's stout. But not.
Well, and you said, but you hadn't had a cigar.
I had a cigar in a week, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's, but just off the draw, man, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's got some, it's like sipping on some Novocaine or something. It's like my tongue is a little bit numb. It's not, I'm not
It's one more for the good guys.
Good guys.
Well, folks, we hope you've enjoyed. We hope you've learned something. We hope we've helped you. If you got any comments or any of that kind of stuff, please put them in the comment section. Again, you can always email us at one more for the goodguys.com, and or you can email us at goodguyscigars
at gmail.com.
Yes, oh yeah.
Yep.
I was trying not to say that, but that's okay.
It's an email address.
Yeah, fuck 'em.
Screw you, YouTube.
Fuck off.
Yeah. I mean, you can fuck
knows, right?
Yeah, you can cut somebody's head off and put it on there.
Yeah.
But you can't put a cigar on there.
You're gonna get blood out of a turnip. But we hope you have a good week coming up, and we hope your new year was good. We got a few more things to just stay tuned. Just put us on your social media things. Check back in with us.
Send us an email. We'll put you on our email list, and that way you won't have to get censored information all the time.
That would be real good. If you're interested in learning more about Good Guys Cigars, then just email us. Get on the email list. Email us.
You know what to do.
We'll tell you what to do. Any rate, be kind. Be good to one another. We're starting off with 2025. We've already had some hellacious news with all the bullshit that happened down in New Orleans, and
Los Angeles burning to the ground.
Los Angeles. I sent out 2 texts to folks that I knew on the left coast today, asking if they were okay, and all that stuff's happening in real time. But the bottom line is, be kind to one another. It doesn't cost a dime to be nice, but there's always a price to be paid for cruelty. So you heard it here first. You'll hear it here again. Thanks, everybody. You want to do another one?
Yeah, oh yeah.
All right. That's one more for the good guys. Cheers.
Cheers.
I'll be gone in the morning before the sun comes up, with me and my weenie dog and my pickup truck. And either way, baby, a good man, it's hard to find. I said, now either way, baby, a good man, it's hard to find.